Hello, this is Ennis from Never Stop Trucking. I am receiving all these comments on the YouTube channel and sometimes in email, and then I would like to read them all now and try to answer them. If I don't know them, I'm just going to tell you that I don't know the answer to that. And then, as far as the email goes, if you can just post a question here on the YouTube channel, it's much easier for me to find those questions and answer them like this in a video. So let's start with the first question. Hello, what platform would you recommend to accept payments from our carriers as a dispatch? And and then also I made a PayPal business account. They let you make and send an invoice right from the app, but I think I can only use that with carriers who also have PayPal. In your opinion, what have you seen work best? Now, PayPal is a safe way to accept and send payments across the world, and it's a very, very popular app or a system, as I would call it. But there are people who use also credit cards and debit cards, and then services such as Stripe or Square are really popular, but they charge a fee. PayPal is still the best way to do it. Now, if you're in the United States, you can always ask carriers for a check. And it's still, most brokers still do checks for payments, believe it or not. A lot of them are using ACH transactions like a direct deposit to your account, but checks are still a common practice. With PayPal invoice, it's a nice way to have something professional, but I would always recommend that you get an invoicing software. Even try to make a template for yourself only, but it's hard to keep track like that. So I would recommend getting a third-party invoicing software. I use Trucking Office. They're not exactly cheap. They run from like $50 and up a month, but it's much easier to track it that way, and then you can offer your carriers different ways to pay you, because that's probably going to get them on board easier. One of my uncles is starting a dispatching company from Pakistan. I will be working as a dispatcher. I'm confused and unconfident at the moment. I'm not shying in asking that will it be working for us. I guess he's shy. Well, I am not an extrovert myself. I find it easy to talk to people that I don't know, even in person, but especially when it comes to these videos. At the beginning, it's hard to talk to a camera and act naturally, okay? And that was my struggle with these videos, and I'm still trying to think about words that I try to say like right now. But to me, it's just part of the process. It's part of learning. And then if you want to be successful in this business, then you have to put it aside. Like I know people who are very shy, but once they start their workday as a dispatcher, then they transform into this beast. So it's just something that you have to force yourself to do. You have to be talkative, not, of course, talk too much, but you have to force yourself to communicate and give out the most information that the other person needs to know. And then you need to practice every day. I guess watch some of my videos, like when I talk to brokers, and watch other YouTube channels that do that. And then with time, it will just come to you. It will be natural. Don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. Just don't stress about it. Just start, and then you'll be okay. I'm in Serbia, and when I try to open Safer, meaning the website from the government, from DOT, where you can check trucking companies, I get 403 forbidden error. I don't know why. Maybe because of my location. Maybe try to use VPN software. I used VPN Express when I went to Bosnia a few times, and then they wouldn't. My bank doesn't let me access the website, because they are thinking I am a hacker, or someone trying to hack into someone's account in United States from abroad, and then I can't even access the website. And then there were some brokers too that didn't let me access the website, but for it was like $10 a month, I think, or like $15 a month. And VPN software is really great. Pay a monthly subscription, and then you can choose any IP you want from almost anywhere in the world, like any country you want to pretend to be in. It lets you do that. And that is not only good for a business like this. You can also, like, some people use it for Netflix, because there are some movies and shows that are restricted in some countries that you can access from different countries, and then they use that to access that. And there are a lot of other things that you can do. So I recommend that. I used VPN Express. Check them out. If I don't forget, I'll put the description in the video. In your next question answer, can you discuss layovers and how they concern the dispatch company? I've heard situations where the dispatch doesn't handle the layovers, and situations where they do it for extra money. It would be lovely if you could share your opinion on that, and also the process of handling them if you do. So layovers, I do most of my work as a trucking authority, so that means I have my own trucks or owner operators who are signed on. They signed a lease to my company. But even with dispatching companies, when we work with carriers that are not leased on to us, there is this problem of detention and layovers. Layovers are tricky, because most brokers will pay you anywhere from $150 to $250 for one day, and that's really maximum, and that's really if you can get it out of them. The problem is you can't really make them pay you, and that's one of the big problems with this business. And when you're demanding your pay from brokers, you just kind of play like that. Hey, they should pay, but it's hard to get your payment even for a load. If a broker does not decide to pay, it's hard to get that payment from them. If a trucking dispatcher does not handle the layover, and if it's not included in that fee, I kind of understand it, because that's extra work for them, especially if you have to keep asking the broker for that, or request it. But in my opinion, it should be included in your rate, because when you find a load for a carrier, and you should be available for that load from the point you book the load until delivery. And if the driver is laid over, like they don't want to take the freight, or something happens, the driver is still under that load, and you should probably honor the fact that you booked a load for them, and that you're charging a fee, and then whatever might happen, that you're there for them. Because even me as a trucking authority, I don't charge drivers like I'm fighting for their layover, for detention, something related to that load. Even once it's delivered, I don't charge an extra fee for that. I do charge them the percentage fee, but you as a trucking dispatcher will do the same. If you charge like 5 to 10% for that load, and you will still do the same for that layover. I know it's not much, but it's part of the load, it's part of the deal. But how to get the broker to pay, that's a different story. You can't really make them pay. You can, write them a bad review if they are not paying, and then you can not work with them anymore. Hi, I don't have any experience with truck dispatching. I live in St. Louis. You think it's a good idea I start with local drivers only? I think that's okay if you don't have a way to work with a company that does over-the-road driving. Then it's still driving. It's just local. It's not over the road. You don't go out of the state probably. and that's okay. Once you learn the basics, it's gonna be like 80% of the work you need. The only difference that these drivers that go over the road is that it will take them more time and few days to deliver the load. And sometimes, like when they go through certain states, sometimes there are certain rules, or permits, but that's not that hard. Can you explain what straight through and direct drop means? Straight through means that if you load now and you deliver right away, same day, that's straight through. So let's say you have 300 miles to drive and it will take you about 5 hours to get to delivery. So it's noon now, and then you get there around 5, and then they take you right away. That's straight through. Now, some brokers are playing with this term. So sometimes, like if you can make it to delivery in 5 hours, they will say that this load is straight through, but then you have 10 hours from the time when you pick up until the time you deliver. You have 10 hours. Like let's say you pick up at noon and your appointment's at 10 p.m., but you only have 5 hours to drive. And they say it's a straight through. Well, that's not straight through. Straight through, well, that's their way of selling you a load. They play with those terms, but straight through means if you pick up now, drive, deliver right away. That's straight through. If you have an appointment in next 5 or 10 hours, that is not straight through. Direct drop, what I think, what I was saying, I probably said that in one of my videos. It's probably that it's not a trailer drop, it's a live load and unload, and that means that whenever the driver gets there, they will unload him, or he or she has an appointment, and then they will have you park at the dock, and then they will unload your trailer, as opposed to leave the trailer there for several hours or even several days. That's a drop trailer. That's what it means. What type of monitor is that? It's in the description. You can see there's a link there that will take you to my website, and I have all the equipment that I'm using. This seems so stressful. How do you cope? If you have a lot of trucks, yeah, it's a lot of stress. The more trucks you have, the more stress it is. If you have 4 trucks like I do right now, then sometimes it can be stressful, and then usually it's not. Only if someone cancels your load, or the driver is waiting for a long time to pick up or deliver, or you can't find a load, something breaks down and you have to look for service. In those situations, then it is stressful. But I figure any job is stressful. Anything you do has its up and down sides. And then especially if you're trying to do something on your own, like run your own business, any business that you run on your own is stressful. Anything you do, if it's drivers, brokers, money, customers, everything, because you're trying to please everyone, you're trying to make it profitable, you're trying to expand your business, and then sometimes it doesn't work the way you want it to work, and then it's a lot of stress. So it comes with the job, and then you just learn that you will have days that are okay, that are calm, and then some days will be stressful. And then like if you have a stressful day today, that probably next day or next few days will not be. And then it just works like that. And then that most of these problems will get solved. If it looks like in that minute, that moment, it looks like it's something that it's a really big deal, and everything is falling down, it's the end of the world, but that eventually you will solve this problem, and it's just how I learned to deal with it. Brother, how do you negotiate a load with one pick and multiple stops? I don't like these loads. Sometimes I book them, but they have to be paying really well. If you, let's say your loads are averaging around $3 a mile, like all the loads that you're doing, and you get this multiple stop load, that's paying $3 a mile, and then maybe they add $50 per stop because that's what they like to do. The brokers, for them, one extra stop is $50, and that's nowhere near enough because we are dealing with big equipment here, driver, fuel, time. I mean, $50 per stop. People don't understand these trucks cost a lot of money to purchase and to maintain. If you go out and try to rent a big machine that's worth $100,000 or maybe even $200,000, see how much is that going to cost you, and then you add more work to it. You add another stop that machine has to go to and do. See if you're going to pay them $50 and then you're going to do that. They're not going to do that. We do this freight for like, a load for $2,000 or $3,000. I had that about 2 years ago. This was a reefer truck. It was a load from Grand Rapids to Massachusetts, and it wasn't paying, like at that time, the situation was not great, and this load was paying just an average, like, I don't know, maybe like $4,000. But it was like 1,000 miles from here to Massachusetts. And then that truck went into a ditch somewhere in Pennsylvania, New York border, somewhere over there. It went into a ditch, and it was total damage for the truck and for the load. And the towing company came out. They had 2 trucks, I think. And it was just like the truck was still on its wheels. It just went down like on the side of the road. Like there was this grass and, a couple of trees. And it was maybe like 50 yards, maybe even less, and it was just standing on wheels. It wasn't tipped over. And the bill for that, for the insurance, was $20-some thousand. And they had like 20 miles, 2 trucks dispatched, 2 trucks, 20 miles to drive to that point and get the truck out and then tow it to their yard. Over $20,000 for that. And then I'm thinking this truck just drove 1,000 miles for $4,000, and they drove 20 miles and they did it in half a day, maybe like 4 or 5 hours of work, and they charge that much. And insurances are okay with that, and they've seen bills like that for $40,000 or $50,000 just for 2 or 3 trucks to come out and get that. And then we are driving 1,000 miles for $4,000. It just doesn't make sense. And sorry if I'm rambling, but if you go to a post office and try to send a box, a big box for a couple of hundred miles, to the city that's like a couple of hundred miles away, see how much that's going to cost you. It's going to be like at least a couple of $100. And we have a full truck here, and they're trying to sell me a full load for $200, like a local load, $200 for that. It doesn't make sense, and $50 is not enough for an extra stop. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you have to book a load with few loads, make sure it's paying like at least twice as the average for whatever they're paying per mile, okay, with all the miles included. And then if you want to add the extra stop or not, that's up to you. But in my opinion, these loads should be very expensive because you're losing a lot of time. And if you cannot do it this way, then just stay away from them because there are a lot of other loads out there. Hi, Anis. When you book a load, do you ask the cargo value? Brokers are selling the loads which cost $1 million for $250,000 insurance carrier holder. What's your opinion on this? Friend's trucking company had this case, and someone stole the product from the trailer. Now broker said it has $1 million cargo insurance, refusing to pay the loss. Here's what I think about the cargo value thing. Most trucking companies have $100,000 cargo coverage. Sometimes brokers will ask for $250,000 100K, but that's very rare, and that's for high value cargo. It could be copper or electronics, and some insurances they exempt electronics, and you should look into that. Some insurances will not cover electronics, like TVs, because there's a high chance that someone wants to steal them. But anyway, $100,000 is a lot of money, and imagine what you can put into your truck for $100,000 in your trailer. And if you want to get higher insurance, $250,000 in coverage, then you have to ask your insurance to give you a quote on that. But usually they will ask you why. Why do you need it? What are you planning to haul? What is the value of that? What is that product? And who is it with? All kinds of questions. And I tried to do it one time, and they started asking me all these questions. And I just wanted to have it, like for future. If I see a load that's high value, I just wanted to be able to book that load. But no, they wanted me to specifically say like which loads I'm going to do. And of course, I didn't know that because I had no specific loads. I just wanted to be prepared. So I gave up on that. And $250,000 is also a lot of money. And imagine what you can do, what you can put in your truck for that value. $1 million, that's out of ordinary. That's an out of ordinary load. What are you hauling? What's the value in that trailer? 1 million. Like when your driver loads a load, they can see what it is. If it's a big machine, then it's probably not going to fit in your truck. They probably need a flatbed, maybe even a step deck. It might be even an oversized load. But if you do, regular palletized load or even floor loaded, then that's a lot of money. I can't imagine what are you going to haul that's worth $1 million. It's not food, it's not auto parts, it's not steel or plastic or toys or general merchandise. It's not for sure. Sometimes there are these carriers who transport high value cars, but that's specialized, and they have insurance and they know how it works. With us, we are just doing regular loads. We are not hauling gold and diamonds, So first thing that comes to mind is what was in that load. Why did the driver not take a look, like the company where you hold? What kind of company was that? Was it just a regular factory or a warehouse? The broker, how can the broker sell the load to you that's worth more than you don't have, like you have the coverage for? The broker should be responsible for that, not you. There's a lot of things that are involved that I don't understand, and that's probably a case for lawyers if it's that much money involved. And honestly, I never ever heard that someone in our industry, like in these regular companies, these loads that we do, has hauled a load that's worth that much. In short, I don't know what to do in that case, but also to me that kind of, a lot of things that don't match up there. And, when you book a load, you don't usually ask for the value. Usually brokers will not know the exact value. They will know if you need extra insurance, because they can see what insurance you have and what are the limits. And they are not usually going to sell you a load because they want to cover their back. Also, brokers usually have their own insurance, like general liability or extra coverage, especially big brokers, but most brokers have insurance too. That will cover the difference between your insurance and what's owed to them. Like if you have a $250,000 coverage and the load was worth $1 million, then the broker's insurance should cover that. So it's a good idea to check out brokers too before you book a load with them. Their history and then their bond and their insurance if they have one. That's a good practice too. I know most of the time it's hard to do that, but it's not your fault if something like that happened. It is not your fault, and then most probably lawyers will have to be involved in going to court because it's a lot of money, and it's not a common practice to ask someone what the load is worth, because it's usually under $100,000 and they can see what coverage you have. This is it for this time, and keep the questions coming. If the question was already answered, I might skip it, or if it's a simple question that I already answered in a comment, then I'll probably skip it. But if it's something that deserves a longer answer, then I'll do it in one of these videos. I hope you enjoyed these videos, and then come back for more. Check out the description for some links. I have some stuff there that will help you, and some things on my website too. And then I'll see you around. Thanks for watching.